The inaugural edition of the Nelson Mandela Children's Film Festival, which will take place in Johannesburg between the 16th and 18th of June through collaboration between the Children and Broadcasting Foundation for Africa and the Nelson Mandela Children's Fund. This festival will commemorate the Nelson Mandela Centenary. Now, let's get more on this story. We are joined by the co-founder, Firdoze Bulbulia, of the Nelson Mandela Film Festival. Thank you very much indeed for your time. How is this film festival going to keep the Madiba legacy alive?
Well, I think it's going to shine a spotlight on Mandela, and it really focuses on children. And as we know, former President Tata Mandela had a real soft spot for children. He said that children were the rock of any nation, and that if we took care of our children, we would really be taking care of our nation. With the festival, what we're hoping is that broadcasters, media people will begin to see the relevance for children's content, to ensure quality media for all children, particularly from an African perspective, because we don't have, in fact, in South Africa, we do not produce feature films for children.
Is it? So that's a gap in the market, isn't it?
A huge gap, yes.
Tell us about, we understand that there's film talent from across the globe that will be descending on Johannesburg this weekend. Who can we expect?
Well, we're very excited. We've got a young man called Thomas Kuchera. His company, based in Germany, are the people who produce the dragons for the Game of Thrones.
Oh, yeah?
So that's a big one. We have Damalera Sunwiki, who is actually Nigerian birth, grew up in the UK and the US, and he writes for The Simpsons and Blackish. So really around black identity, which I think is important for us as we train young people to write from an African perspective around African identity and black identity. We have Professor Dragan, who's from Serbia. He's just arrived today, and he will be teaching and training around acting in front of camera, so the difference between stage and acting on film, and so those kinds of very different specifics that one requires when performing. So
it's not only going to be film, it's going to be animation, it's going to be performances as well, isn't it?
Yes, so we've got 2 Iranian filmmakers who will be hosting 2 animation workshops. We're going right down from 4-year-olds all the way up. So the animation workshop will be for 6 to 8-year-olds and also for 14 to 17-year-olds. This is a partnership with the Market Theatre. A lot of the venues are at the Market Theatre. The Kilani Mall, where we will be having an opening film, we're showing Asina Mali. We're also having 2 Lifetime Achievement Awards. We're awarding Joan Cooney, who was the founder of Sesame Workshop. She's in her 90s, and so this is quite an amazing feat for us. We're also awarding Sohail Abdelkader, who is Egyptian, and she's probably, for the continent of Africa, one of the oldest people in terms of ensuring quality media for children through film festivals, etc. So that's just 2 Lifetime Achievement Awards. We also have Dr. Milton Chan, who is Asian American and sits on the George Lucas Educational Foundation. So it's really a diversity of very prominent international people who will be coming, and then a host of different films. The films that we chose are really kind of South-South collaborations, so from Brazil, India, China, Iran, so that our children can begin to see places and spaces that resonate with where we come from. So the environments are similar, but really talking around issues. And when you talk about Mandela's legacy, the legacy of empathy, of love, of comradeship, of success, because he always used to say, you know, you must try, and if you fail, try again and again. And that's really what you want to instill in young people. Because
film is a very dynamic medium, isn't it? It's a very powerful medium that can tackle very important issues and critical issues in a very nuanced way.
Yes, and also I think it's the issue of edutainment. You know, we say children at school all the time, it's didactic, it could be boring. How do you use this medium to educate? And as we say, an image tells 1,000 words. So through the films, you can deal with really difficult issues. And in some of the films, that's exactly what we're dealing with. We've got an amazing film from China, and with the World Cup coming on, it's actually a Chinese all-girl football team. And the struggles that you go through as a team sport, and how you have to work together and play with each other. So we're really trying to instill good values. We're saying to young people that, yes, it's difficult, life is difficult, this is life, but that there are opportunities to be positive, and that if you work as a team, if you support each other, things can be easier.
Tell us about this Children and Broadcasting Foundation of Africa. What's it all about?
So the CBFA started in 1995. We actually drew up the South African Children's Charter in terms of a guidelines around children's media. And this charter was adopted then by the Commonwealth broadcasting countries and has served as the guideline for most African countries in terms of children's content and television and media for children. One of the most important articles which we like to talk about is article number 4 that says children should hear, see and express themselves, their languages and their life's experiences through the electronic media that reaffirms their sense of self, community and place. You can say I know this by heart because I think it is so important with the transition in South Africa kind of post-94 where film and content for children was basically Afrikaans, was white dominated, was not talking to our children. We had to change and position that content that's produced has to be produced for all South African children.
Quick dates and times, venues?
16th to 18th of June, we will be at the Market Theatre, the Apartheid Museum, and currently we're on at the Youth Expo, the Gauteng Youth Expo that's taking place at Nasrec. So it's there from the 9th to the 17th of June. There are screenings that take place in partnership with the Gauteng Film Commission, and the SABC, SABC Education, SABC Children are part of our partnerships.
Any plans to travel with it?
We'd love to. So this is the inaugural. What we do have, which is very exciting, is that through an organization called CIFEJ, which is the International Center of Films for Children and Young People, we are members thereof. Our members are global. There are 200 around the world. They will be hosting mini Nelson Mandela Children Film Festivals. So we've curated a short amount of films that they could show in 1 hour, but talk about the icon, talk about the legacy of Madiba, because it is the centenary, and learn a little bit about Mandela. And as I say, there's a Madiba in every generation. And this is really what we punt in. So when you say travel, it's kind of traveling because it's at these festivals. But we would like it to travel within South Africa in different provinces. And then as part of the Zanzibar Film Festival, which happens in July, we will have a special section there as well.
Sounds exciting, sounds interesting. Thank you very much indeed for your time. Firdoze Bulbulia is the co-founder of the Nelson Mandela Film Festival, talking to us about this happening this weekend, 16th to the 18th in Gauteng. Let's take a quick break. We'll be back after this. Stay with us.